My name is Sophie and today I will be talking about my Scratch project for assignment 3. My project name is Lost Leo. It is aimed at students at a level 7 of German when they begun learning German in year 7, and its learning goals is to either use formal or informal language to ask for help and to identify when to use the correct language formality. So the Scratch game will have students helping a character find their way back home, and they will come across other characters which will present people who the students will come across in their everyday lives, and will need to greet and ask them in the correct terms and with either formal or informal language. And then they're also given feedback on why those answers are what they are. And as well in the comments section, students are to have discussions and share answers, and as well as talk about other scenarios when they would use do versus see, and when other situations it will become very tricky. In relation to the SAM-R model, it aims for redefinition because the Scratch project completely replaces a narrative writing tasks, and the texts are spoken, and students are able to get automatic feedback and explanations to why formal or informal language is used, and they're also able to communicate with each other through the comments section, as well as have conversations with students from German-speaking countries, which is not possible with a traditional writing task. In relation to Bloom's taxonomy, it aims for analyze, but in reality it's more apply because this project allows students to master the application skills whilst using information in new situations. Students interpret clues given to them that will allow them to determine which language formality is best applied and used so that it is culturally appropriate. Although it does aim for analyze, this tool aims for students to master their analyzing skills by learning to differentiate the difference between formal and informal language of German. Within the knowledge dimension, they will be using conceptual knowledge as they are finding the interrelationships between the basic elements within a larger structure. For Guy's learning principles, the game aims for interaction because the students interact with Leo and allow them to connect to Leo, and by connecting to the different characters of the game, as they are based off real people in real life, they will become more engaged and hopefully learn to understand the importance of using the correct language formality in German culture. While ordered problems, this game aims for students to learn the difference of formal versus informal language through the series of situations that get a little more tricky to navigate with each level, and situated meanings. Through the means of play and connecting with the various characters, students are also learning new vocabulary that is presented and learning different ways to ask for help, both in formal and informal language. For the E affordances, the project aims for multimodal meaning, collaborative intelligence, and active knowledge making, as well as ubiquitous learning anytime and anywhere. Multimodal because of sound, text, conversations, and images. Collaborative intelligence, the comment section allows students to participate in a forum that allows students to work collaboratively, as well as stimulate more food for thought and coming up with different discussions. Active knowledge making, there's new connections being made between pieces of information. And ubiquitous learning, the students aims for students to get a idea, and it is based on humanistic learning by Rogers. Students with learning difficulties, the students with dyslexia will probably have the greatest difficulty with this, as it has writing, but because the game doesn't focus on spelling and it also has the conversations are all spoken, students with dyslexia are also able to join in. And because the students are able to listen to the sentences and words, they are able to match the phonics of the letters of the words and be able to decode the sentences and also make decisions from there. And because they can just have the clues of what they need, they can base their language formality off that. So how did my project change? So my main problems were that I struggled to use Scratch. I could not wrap my head around it, it just was not working. So in solution to that, I asked my brother to teach me how to use Scratch after I couldn't follow YouTube tutorials because I physically needed someone to show me how to use the difficult coding parts. Originally I wanted students to type their own responses so they can initiate and produce their own learning and responses rather than just consuming the answers. I didn't really have a solution to this, so I gave them a multiple choice answers and gave them feedback why the answers were as they were, but I also asked them to begin discussions in the comments section. And the other problem was that I didn't know if my learning goals would be achievable through a Scratch activity. Although I continued with my learning goals, I knew that students would master the topic just through the game. The German language is complex and isn't able to be taught through online activities. Students need to speak and immerse themselves in the language to master it. It takes years to learn the formalities of German language, and because I'm in German as well, I still struggle with the formalities. So this activity was designed for students more as a warm-up idea and to have them start thinking about the importance of formalities. Personal learning, I learned it was okay to ask for help and that I don't need to do everything by myself and just stress myself out. And I learned to reevaluate and redo my ideas and try out different ideas even if they don't end up happening. Thank you.